Good day, my name's DJ Rebirth, and this is a speedrun of the best ending easy mode category for Cave Story Plus on the Nintendo Switch. So let's get started. Start story mode, empty save slot, easy mode, start game, single player, and 3, 2, 1 Cave Story. Let's go. Alright, so this is Cave Story Plus, which is a version of Cave Story. Cave Story originally was a freeware game released in 2004 on the PC. It's had many different iterations, many different releases, but I actually learned about this game in 2017 when it came out on the Nintendo Switch. And so I just got super duper hooked on it, and I just wanted to just keep running it, keep playing it, and it was just a blast. So what we just did, we just picked up the Polar Star. That's the first gun that we get. Basically, in one of the patches for this game, they introduced basically a speed key that allows you to skip cutscenes. So the cutscenes will still fire. You'll see me holding the X button on the like the little hold X to skip cutscene. You'll see that pop up a few times, and that allows us to basically just fire all the way through cutscenes, essentially. So that way we don't need to worry about button mashing through dialogue and things of that nature. One funny little piece of trivia is I actually started speedrunning this game prior to that being introduced. So after that got introduced, I was pretty happy, and my thumbs were pretty overjoyed as well. So right now we are in the we are a robot named Quote. We don't really know that right now. We just know that we woke up in a cave, but we are in the Mimiga village. They are little furry creatures that just live in this this apparent cave, and that is a little Mimiga called Toriko, and she was just captured by an adversary named Misery, who showed up with her blocky buddy Balrog. Balrog basically tried to pick a fight with us just now, and he's like, "You want to fight? Yes or no?" And we just said no, and he's like, "All right, well, I guess I'll go then." So he left. So now what we actually need to do is we need to go to this graveyard in order to get a key to the house of someone named Arthur, who's kind of like the resident town scientist guy who's got a bunch of cool stuff in his old house. So we're basically making our way through this. We can take a little bit of damage here. All right, and there's Arthur's grave. We got Arthur's key. So now we're going to go to Arthur's house, and we're going to enter the very first area, which is the Egg Corridor. Yeah, I started speedrunning this in 2017, and then I took a bit of a hiatus, if you will. And recently I started picking it up again. Since then, there have been a lot of advances in the world of speedrun tech. There's still a lot of stuff that I'm still need to learn. There's a huge active Cave Story Plus community as we speak, and they're just constantly figuring out new things. So with that said, we are now going through the Egg Corridor. We're taking our gun, and we're picking up these little Dorito looking things. This is actually experience points for our weapon. So as we pick up more and more of these, took some damage there. More and more of these, our weapon is leveling up. However, as we take damage, the weapon essentially loses experience. It loses experience, so then you need to kind of beat up more enemies in order to level up the weapon. But essentially, what we want to do here is at the end of this section, we wouldn't need a level 3 gun, because the boss that's coming up, Igor, he takes a bunch of hits. So we want to make sure that this weapon is level 3. All right, and obviously we want to get through this area as quick as we can while leveling up the weapon. So one of the little challenges of the intro to Egg Corridor. So we're just going to grab these, and I think we should be okay. I think this will be enough. So there's Igor, and that's a Mimiga by the name of Sue. She appears to be a Mimiga. She was actually turned into a Mimiga, but she was originally human. She was part of a little expedition team of scientists that just came to the island to kind of investigate, just learn about this little subculture of Mimigas, and look at the little lots of mysteries surrounding the island and whatnot. So yeah, Sue came to the island with her brother, as well as her mom and her dad, as well as a professor and a doctor. And unfortunately for them, the doctor discovered what's known as the Demon Crown, and he put it on and was completely absorbed its power. So now we're kind of just dealing with the aftermath, where the villains are essentially serving him, and They just want to serve his purpose, and some more horrible stuff happens. But I will leave that to mystery as we go through it. So now we have reached Igor, the first official boss fight that you cannot skip. We're just doing some bit of damage to him. Since we have the level 3 weapon, we can just keep essentially just spamming him until he goes away. As soon as this fight's over, it doesn't really matter what level our weapon is. So we took out Igor. He's done. Dunzo. So he has a stashed little Sue away in this little room, in this big ol' egg room. She's going to wake up. She's like, oh, did you come here to save me? We're actually going to say no, because that cuts the amount of dialogue that happens. We did come here to save her, technically, but we want to give her the opposite impression. And it doesn't really affect the story or anything if you tell her no. There are a few different endings to this game. The best ending we're going to get... It basically is dependent on how we handle some elements during the game. There's another robot we run into by the name of Curly, and we basically have to make sure she lives. And essentially, if she lives, she gives us a special item that allows us access to like one of the end game areas. That comes a lot later in the run. But for now, we're just kind of going through the areas. We haven't even met that robot yet. We're just going through these areas. We're wrapping up the egg zone, and then we're soon going to come up on the bushlands, which is a little bit more of a complicated area. So we're going to wrap this up. We're going to go into the teleporter. We're going to hold the speed key, hold down X, and then we're just going to basically go back to Arthur's house in record time. And Sue has already made it back. And these townspeople heavily dislike Sue because they recognize that she was part of the expedition team that brought the evil doctor to the island. He wasn't evil at the time, but once he found the demon crown, he turned into a very horrible individual. So they resent Sue quite a bit. But they have her locked up, and Sue basically said, "Hey, my brother is in the bushlands. Go rescue him." So now we're in the bushlands. This little Mimi guy's named Santa, like Santa Claus, but Santa. He lost the key to his house, so we're gonna go grab that real quick. So there's the key. All right, and now we're gonna go back to Santa's house. Right. He's gonna run into his house, overjoyed. And we're actually gonna go talk to him, and he's gonna give us a fireball weapon as compensation for saving him. I'm gonna just heal up real quick. There we go. All right. So now we're gonna equip the fireball. And we're also live streaming while we do this, so we're getting some chat interaction. How's it go, Dunkathan Salt? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. Just doing some commentary for the Nintendo Switch version of this lovely game for SGDQ 2020. All right, so we're in a Mimiga's house named Chaco. So we're just gonna examine this fire and leave her house. She just says, hey, you know, to put out that fire, you need jellyfish juice. So now we're gonna go get some. All right, so we're just gonna carefully take this area. There are some large enemies over there that if we awaken, it spells bad news. We're just gonna let them snooze, hop over their heads. They hear us jumping around, so they wake up, but that's okay. But what we do need to do is drop down here, make a jump to this platform, and then we need to dispose of this gigantic jellyfish, essentially. Oop, didn't want that, but that's okay. We're gonna open this chest. Oop, come on, you can do it. There we go. And get the jellyfish juice. So now we're gonna go back to Santa's house because we gotta grab some charcoal, which we're gonna need for a later piece of this level. No, they are. The games for SGDQ are currently in submission phase. So from March 4th to 14th, that's when the games are being submitted. So this is technically the run we're going to be submitting. So we're going to jump on this, whoop, get a little damage boost there. That's always nice. But yeah, the game submissions. Ooh, drop to the ground again. It's horrible when that happens, but we'll deal. All right, so we got jellyfish juice one more time. And now we're going to go back to Santa's house one more time and get one more jellyfish juice. We can actually carry multiple jellyfish juices. Yeah. But yeah, SGDQ this year is from June 21st to June 27th. So excited to submit and all that good stuff. Oh, and actually we forgot to split at charcoal. So there we go. Now we're up to date. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to jump here. Take out some of these very upset enemies that were disturbing their natural habitat, if you will. Alright, so let's go over here. Alright, good enough. Alright, so we're gonna get our last jellyfish juice. And we're getting some crazy patterns for the big jellyfish. Look at that. Alright, so now we have all the jellyfish juice we need. So now we're gonna go to the right, back to Choco's house, and we're gonna use some jellyfish juice on her fireplace, kind of like what we did in Santa's house, to put out the fire. Yeah, absolutely. Alright, so now let's go through this area. We're just going to kind of hop through some enemies, use iframes here and there so we can just get from point A to point B as quickly as we can. Alright, so now we're just going to make sure this is level 3. Okay, looks good. Alright, we're going to talk to this crack. Now we're going to talk to this door. We're going to talk to this crack one more time. There we go. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and go in here. Cave story random race for HDDQ. Oh, that'd be kind of that'd be crazy. Is there a cave story randomizer? That would be absolutely insane. So we just got a health pickup. So now what we're gonna do is, now that we've gotten that rusty key, we're gonna go ahead and go to the power room because this area's power generator is currently offline. One day, that's funny. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go in this room. Oh, head dev. Oh, well, it's very nice to meet you. All right, so we're gonna turn the power generator on. All right, there is Balrog. We're going to tell him yes in order to kind of move his dialogue kind of slowly. And now we're just going to stand on his head, or at least attempt to stand on his head. There we go. Come on. There we go. And we're just going to spam him with fireballs. We're going to stand on his head and just spam him with fireballs till he disappears. Come on. Almost there. There we go. All right, so now we're going to talk to this robot known as a Malfoy, a very cat-looking robot. And so now he has given us a laundry list of items to get because he's going to make a bomb for us that's going to open that shack over there, which contains Sue's brother. I should have mentioned that earlier. Sue's brother is in that shack that cannot currently be opened. So we're going to grab some missiles. We grab some missiles, and now we're going to talk to this crack one more time. We're going to get a gum key, very important. And by the way, to create this bomb that the Malfoy needs, we need jellyfish juice, which we already have. We need charcoal, which we already have. Now the only thing we need is gum. Essentially, it's a light C4 explosive. So I'm going to safety save here, because there's some terrible spikes down here. We're going to jump over here, and then we're going to use this fan to propel ourselves over here. And we missed that shot, so we're going to do it again. Very, very intricate. Whee! There we go. All right. So now we're going to go in here. Awesome, Dunkathon. All right, so we're going to open this chest. We're going to get the gum base. Misery's going to appear. There's Balrog, the guy we just fought, and she turned him into a gigantic frog. So we're just going to stand below his face, spam him with fireballs. We're now going to equip the missiles, run through his body. As soon as we get to his other side, he initiates his next attack pattern. So we're going to do this a couple more times, unless we can kill him in this cycle. Let's see. Yeah, we got one more cycle. So we're just going to run through him and get ready. And there we go. Done. Look at that. 60 frames per second platform. That's funny. Jump is much harder than 60. Oh, weird. The more you know, right? All right, so he's done. So now we're going to go back to the Malfoy robot, and we're going to get that bomb built. Get that old bomb built. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that now. Come on. Let's get that bomb built at record speed. And there we go. We got the bomb. Now we can break out Sue's brother, who is actually currently in human form. He didn't get turned into a Mimiga, fortunately. Alright, so we're gonna use the bomb here. We're gonna activate our split. There's her brother. And then the doctor, or not the doctor, the professor. The professor and doctor, two different people. The doctor appears and he's like, "Hey, I was in the labyrinth. What were you doing?" And brother was like, "Oh, I've been stuck in here forever." And the professor's like, "All right, well, now you're out of here." So they jumped on their little epic little hover bike and then they got out of here. So now we're gonna pretty much do the same exact thing. We're gonna equip the missiles. So as we take hits to kind of abuse iframes, we won't be losing experience on any other weapons because we are going to need those for the next area. I am going to equip the fireball. Ooh. See, that's why we need those iframes. That pit was almost deadly. This is how crazy Cave Story can be. There are just a lot of enemies that there's some enemies that even though you have iframes, you can still get pushed by them. So, and look, there's their hover bike, and now it's wrecked. All right, so now we're gonna exit this area, back to Arthur's house. Alrighty, so now Sue has been released from her prison, and now she's like, dude, you need to go to the sand zone and figure this out. So we're going to the sand zone now. And there's our robot friend, Curly, although she doesn't recognize us and we don't recognize her. The reason there are robots on this island is that there's a dark power on this island, which essentially was the demon crown and some other bad stuff. And there was an army of robots basically sent to the island to basically snuff out the power. And so basically all the robots were destroyed in the whole mess. They got to the island's core, they were destroyed, but there were 2 survivors, which was Curly, the lady we're fighting, and then Quote, who we are. So obviously they have amnesia. She thinks that we're there to kill the Mimi guys, which we're not. She thinks we're with the adversary crowd. So yeah, we're good now. So we just traded our gun for her machine gun. One of these Mimi guys told us that there's a dog here that needs to go home, so we're gonna pick up this dog and put it on our back. One feature that's unique to the Nintendo Switch version of Cave Story Plus is that you can actually stack dogs, multiple dogs on your back. So there's a total of 5 dogs we're gonna pick up during this. And we can stack them on our back. And actually the PC version of this game does not have that luxury. So yeah, you'll see us picking up dogs. And additionally, this version of the game has placed one of the dogs in a closer location. I believe in the PC version of Cave Story Plus, there is a dog at the very end of the level, so there's a pretty lengthy amount of area you have to traverse just to get that dog. But in the Switch version, they've toned it down a little bit, which I think is pretty speedrun friendly. So yeah, we're just kind of getting to this area. We want to stay up top because there's a passage on the other side of this that we want to get to. So we're just going to kind of carefully get through this. All right, grab this heart. So we're going to take this upper passage. And also, there's a little paw print right there to kind of indicate that this is a secret passage, and there is a dog right here. Yep. There's the sleepy dog. That sleepy dog is actually the dog that's at the end of the level in the original version of the game, as well as the PC version of Cave Story Plus. Yeah. Additionally, if you take into consideration that this is in other versions of this game, you need to, you can't stack dogs. You're just going back and forth, back and forth. So anytime we pick up a dog, just imagine we have to go back and forth, because that's literally what everyone else has to do. So we're taking the easy route, but that's the luxury they gave us in the Switch version. One other thing they gave us in the Switch version is the ability to strafe backwards and forwards. We use that a little bit in the Igor fight, and we're kind of using it a little bit in this fight. This boss, by the way, is called Omega. So we're just hitting it with fireballs till it goes away. There we go. Misery appeared prior to this fight to basically summon Omega. And so, interestingly enough, by defeating Omega, there was a curse that was placed on this level that is now no longer in effect. Interesting. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and level up our machine gun. Apparently in the randomizer version of this game, they have unlocked the ability to carry multiple dogs, which is absolutely awesome. I just learned this from the dev, who is hanging out in the chat, which is totally awesome. What is the randomizer written in, by the way? Is it written in Unity, or is it like C+, straight up C++? Like what? How does that all go down? I am a bit of a developer, but I've never done any like sort of game dev or anything like that, or at least any modern game dev, especially. So this is all new to me. All right. If you say Python, I'm gonna cry. All right. So basically, right now we're going to try and level up the machine gun. We would have liked to reach level 3 there, but that's okay. Because at level 3, something super cool happens. Lua using Love 2. Oh, interesting. I have not heard of any of those languages / frameworks. Not your choice. That's funny. All right. All right, so we're gonna get level 3. All right, there we go, good to go. So the great thing about level 3 for this gun is now it basically functions as a jetpack. The machine gun does not have infinite ammo, but the ammo does regenerate. So as long as the machine gun has ammunition, you can literally, it acts kind of as a surrogate jetpack. So now that we've defeated Omega, also those those blocks open up, and here's another secret passage. We're gonna get a dog and a health pickup. Oh, interesting, ISIL. Very cool. You forked an existing project. Oh, like on GitHub or Bitbucket. All right, so we have another dog. So we have 2 more dogs to pick up, and then we can advance the plot in this area. So I'm just going to fire downwards just like this, and we're just going to go all the way down. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to basically go across the sand here. Lua IR. Oh, how interesting, ISIL. Very cool. All right, so we're using the fireball here to just clear these enemies. There's a dog right there we're going to need to interact with, but we want to kill this enemy first so we can get nice and close to it, not have any iframes or anything weird. Now, this is going to be frame perfect. The dog is going to run away, and we literally have to press down. Got him. Awesome. All right, so we have 4 dogs now, but yeah, that's literally frame perfect. Like, just in the regular game, that's frame perfect. So if you press down at the wrong time, all right, there's the last dog, by the way, who likes to hang out in the darkness in a deserted house, and well, we need to just kind of find our way. It's kind of funny because the stack of dogs on your head actually clips through the environment, so you can kind of see where the openings are. So all right, we have all 5 dogs. Beautiful. Lua was pronounced Woodlander. That's funny. All right, so now we're just going to go and just kind of go over here. We're going to equip the fireball because we don't really need it anymore. So now we're going to equip the machine gun, our surrogate jetpack. We're going to press up, get through this, and now we're going to go to House of Jenka the Witch, who actually is it's Misery's mother, I believe. And so we're giving all the dogs back to Jenka. Balrog showed up briefly, and she basically told them to get out. So now we're giving her all 5 of her dogs that were missing. So now we're going to leave. And then we're gonna go back. And Balrog has stolen the key to a warehouse. So this is really important. So this warehouse in the sand zone contains red flowers. Those red flowers, if ingested by a Mimiga, turns them into just a terrible monster. That just basically, you know, sees red and destroys everything in its path. If you remember Igor, the very first boss we fought, he ingested red flowers. By the way, this area is called the Angry Birds, I like to call it. We're going to equip the fireball. We're just going to jump through them. Sometimes they chase you, sometimes they don't. But today they haven't chased me. So now we're in the warehouse. The little girl that we were greeted with earlier, Toriko, she is being force-fed red flowers. That was the doctor, by the way. So now she has turned into a gruesome beast, just 100% hostile. No way to de-hostilize her. There's no way to really have a Mimiga recover from this horrible, horrible phase. So, or this grotesque form, I should say. Woo! This grotesque form, and we need to avoid these blocks that she throws at us. Because they can do a lot of damage to us and make us lose the machine gun's level, but we got through it okay. And now we're going to get the sword from King, who is actually the mayor of the city. I didn't really talk about him, but yeah, we saw King popping up here and there. But now King's dead, now Toriko's dead, but we got King's sword. So something really important, the reason we need to keep the machine gun at level 3 is because of this area. This is the labyrinth. We are now in the labyrinth. And so we need, essentially, almost had enough. We needed full machine gun ammo to get to the top here. And now we're going to drop down here real quick. We're going to get a little health pickup that really helps me in my adventure. There we go. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and just go through here. We're going to equip this. And sorry if I'm not completely responsive, chat. Just trying to stay focused and do commentary, but I appreciate you guys. All right, so we're in the labyrinth now, and essentially we just need to escape. So we're just going to use machine gun level 3 and just kind of go our merry way. We got to kind of watch our XP levels with this. We may need to take a pit stop and get some XP for this. Yeah, we need to get some XP for this just to play it safe. These enemies don't do too much damage, but it's not comfortable. All right, so basically we're going to go in this door here now. Oop. And we're going to talk to this doctor, who's kind of a frog looking, and our friend Curly, she's actually on the bed. We're going to do a quick safety save here. All right, so now we're going to go in here. We're going to activate machine gun level 3. We're going to go through this little secret passage and get one of the most important items in the entire game. This old guy. the arms barrier. So basically this decreases, basically, you know how you take damage and you lose weapon XP. Well, this allows us, when we take damage, to take a lot less weapon XP away. So now we're gonna grab the medicine, the cure-all that we needed for Curly. Now we're fighting this boss, which is called Poo Black. It's a Balrog ghost. If you remember Balrog, who we saw earlier, who kind of works with the villains, it's basically a ghost of his type of enemy type, if you will. All right, so now we're gonna talk to the doctor, and now we're gonna talk to Curly, and now everything is a-okay. All right, so we're gonna let's see, we're gonna go. All right, we're gonna go just like that. So now we're basically just gonna get through the labyrinth. And now we're approaching the next boss, which is basically a giant cat inside a tank. We're going to clear these guys out. Now, this boss has more or less 2 phases that have multiple cycles. So this first phase, this tank thingy is going to open up. There's 4 green little rock berry-looking things that we need to destroy. Sometimes it's possible to destroy all of those in one cycle. It's really hard, though. It's funny because there's a little paw print on this. Alright, so now, yeah, I've only once destroyed them all in a single cycle. So now that those are destroyed, the weapon is going to start using, the boss is going to start using different attacks. So now we essentially just need to attack the central hub, the central console, if you will. Alright, all while we're getting attacked by other enemies. Alright, let's keep this going. Note the paw print, very important. Cycle, level 2 blade. Okay. Alright, and by the way, you guys like cats? There's only 1 cat in this game. Here it is. Meow! I always say that. Monster X, it's called. So that was Monster X. Now it's an X monster. Got him. Alright, sorry. Alright, so now the professor is falling down. We're just going to completely ignore him, but we are going to see our friend Curly, and she needs help moving this boulder. So we're going to try and move it, and things are going to go awry. And all of a sudden, look, it's Balrog, and he just wants to fight. He's like, I helped you, but I'm also going to fight you. So we're just going to kind of maintain our distance, and that was Balrog again. So now he's going to say, hey, don't tell Misery about this, and here, have some missiles. So now we are going deeper into the labyrinth, and now Curly has joined us. So now she is temporarily helping us beat enemies. She's completely invulnerable to attack, so she's just going to clip through enemies and attack them. Her weapons aren't, or her attacks aren't that great, but she's actually using our first gun, the Polar Star. So now we're just going to carefully get through this area, try not to take too much damage. Iframes tend to help us here, but these enemies still do a lot of damage, so we just kind of want to kind of maintain weapon XP. And also keep our health up, because we are going to need it in this next area. We're just going to kind of grab some health here, just to be on the safe side. Just kind of get through these enemies carefully, take our time just a little bit to just get through this area safely, because, again, the next area we're going to need some health on. Alright, let's get through this. Ooh, actually, I want this health. I dearly want this health. Alright. So I think we're okay now. So what we're going to do is now we're going to change weapons just to get through this area, abuse some iframes. We're going to run and hit this computer. When we're behind these like metal gratings, those blades being thrown by those enemies can't hit us. We have a good amount of health right now, so actually we can literally just clip through these enemies. We're going to do our best to kind of get underneath them and kind of go through here. I'm just going to go ahead and go through. They only do 1 damage really, so we're okay. All right, perfect. Doing great. Doing good. Doing good. All right, so now we are in a dark place. It's very dark. It's also a place. All right, so now we are approaching what is the core of the island. This island has a core. This is kind of where a big robot battle occurred. And in a minute, you'll see a lot of robot corpses, if you will. They're not corpses. They're, you know, robots. But we're just pressing the computer a couple times. We're going to go down here. We're going to go through the water. There is actually a little trick that's very difficult to get. If you drop into the water and then activate the machine gun, you can move at like super fast speed as long as you've retained the momentum. But it's very, very tricky. Yeah, didn't even have it there because I was scratching my head. All right, so now we're going to make our way deeper into this little sanctum. All right. So now Curly is looking at a robot that kind of looks like one of those Malfoys. And that robot has just activated, and it's like, warning, warning, the core is nearby. It explodes. Now Curly is unconscious, and now we are fighting the core. This is the core of the island, and it is very, very hostile. So the core closes up, it waits a little bit, its little buddy cores, mini cores attack us, and then we go back and it opens up. So we're gonna get as close as we can to it and do as much damage as we can. Alright, so now what we're gonna do is go down here. The core is gonna kind of follow us. And we can hopefully finish it off. Oh, alright, we have one cycle left. We should be okay though. Really, really important that this section finishes in the water because you see we have a limited amount of air. That air actually needs to reach 0. This room has filled up with water, and we need to grab that little tow rope. That's very important. So in order to get the best ending, get some game lore here. In order to get the best ending, we need Curly to survive. So we just use the tow rope on Curly. She also gave us her little breathy bubble, so now we can breathe underwater without much of a fuss. We're actually making really good time, by the way. This might be a PB. All right. We did a bit of practicing before this run just to make sure we get it right. All right. So now we are going to enter the next area. But Curly is currently fully unconscious. So now we're in the waterway. So we're just going to kind of casually go through with our jetpack, or our machine gun / surrogate jetpack, I should say. Pretend jetpack. Alright, so we're just going to go through here, clear this. Alright, we should be good now. Now we can go on through. Now remember, Curly is unconscious. She's technically, since she's a robot, she's filled with water. She is in an errored state. She's just unconscious. She's very unconscious, but not to worry, because we're going to save her. So now we're just going to dodge all these spikes, get past all these currents. Alright, let's go left, go around. Alright, so now we're going to go past these little jellies that like to hang out in the waterway. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, you can do it. Alright, beautiful. So now we're going to hop here, we're going to go through this door. First things first is we're going to drop Curly into this bed. Now we're going to use this computer. Now we're going to go look on the bookshelf because it basically contains information on how to drain water from a robot. So now we're going to drain the water from Curly. And now we're going to take her with us. We're not going to leave her there, and that activates the split. Curly lives! Alright. Alrighty, so now we just need to get to this area, and then we're going to get to the fish boss. There's a weird fish boss, I believe called Ironhead, that comes after this. Alright, so we're just going to go through here, use our machine gun. By the way, everyone in chat, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Hope you guys are enjoying the detailed commentary. It's very, very detailed. All right, we're going to change weapons, and now we're going to attack a hostile fish. There it is, the iron head. You can tell it's an iron head because it's got some iron on its head. All right, so now we're just going to basically follow it. We're going to use the blade, and that was the iron head fight. Blink and you'll miss it. All right, rinse and repeat. All right, so now we are back in the Mimiga village, and the music has changed. Also, no one's here. Everyone's gone. What's going on? Why is everyone gone? It's weird. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to refill our life. We're going to go this way, and look, it's the professor, and he's like, ah! Everyone's been kidnapped. Everyone's gone. Here, take this booster. So now we are going to grab this, and we're going back to the old egg corridor. He's basically like, we need to get off this island. There's a little Malfoy just chilling on the left. Alright, so now we're going to use the jetpack and the actual booster, the booster. The actual booster as well as the machine gun to kind of move through this area kind of quickly as possible. We want to avoid these stalagmites because they do quite a bit of damage. Alright, we're going to take this area a little slowly because these heavy presses can literally just end the run. Okay, there we go. Alright, let's go. Alright, so now we're going to do the same thing. If you remember in the egg corridor, there were a lot of eggs. Well, now the eggs have been hatched, and there's a lot of dragons, and they're kind of zombified dragons. And basically what happened was the evil doctor came through this area, and he just basically blew everything up because he's a terrible, terrible person. Remember, the doctor, not the professor, who I still mix up to this day. So we're going to go ahead and go through this room. If you open that treasure chest, you get attacked by two actual boss dragons, and they're kind of a pain in the butt to fight, and it's totally optional. You just get more missiles. So we've already gotten to the end here. We're going to examine this, and we discover that an egg has been opened. There is Sue's brother. He's like, would you like to escape with me? We're going to say, yeah. So if we talk to him, best song in the game. If we talk to him, the game ends. We hop on his dragon, and that's all she wrote. But we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to go up this way, and we're going to turn around now. Whee! All right. We're going to chill here for just a quick second and wait for our ammo to fill back up. And away we go! Up, up, and away! Just like Superman. Alright, so now we're going to turn around again. Alright, this is a good little point. We're just going to wait. We're just going to naturally do our boosty boost here. Oop, come on. We're going to go through this door, and we're going to meet Ito, which is Sue's father. He has been turned into a Mimi god as well. But now we are in the plantation, which shares the same theme as the game. Second best song in the game. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to go into this little jail that most of the Mimi gods are at. But this is a plantation. All of the Mimi gods have been put to work to basically grow those horrible red flowers that turn them into hostile hostiles. All right. My chat has corrected me. Actually, fighting the dragon bosses is optional. So there's Curly again. She has amnesia again. There's a guy named Cthulhu. He's basically saying she fell down near the spring. She needs a special mushroom to regain her memory. So basically, we need to get that mushroom, and that mushroom is all the way back in a secret. Well, it's not really a secret, but it's in a doorway accessible from. Oh, we skipped a little section. We were premature. We need to talk to this fisherman first, and we need to take a key out of his bucket. There we go. Now we can go in that room. We do a little similar route a little bit later, and so it's almost instinct. So now we're gonna go in here, use the teleporter. We get captured. There's one of the Mimi gods from the village. We talked to him twice. All right. So now we're gonna go through here. We have escaped imprisonment. There's the plantation. There's a very dangerous area above us that we're going to visit very shortly. There's a health pickup this way that we're going to go ahead and pick up. All right. So let's go ahead and grab this health pickup. I am going to kill some of these enemies just to spawn some Doritos, as we call them, because we need our machine gun to maintain level 3. Alright, so we're going to go this way, we're going to dodge these bats, and now we're going to do what I originally did when I skipped the fisherman, which I wasn't supposed to do, but we're good now. Alright, so now we're going to go to the left. Whee! That's fun. Alright, it's a very fun run. Alright, so now we're going to go back to the village, because we need that mushroom. Professor's still hanging out there. Alright, so we're going to go up here. Killer robots. Alright, so let's go this way. And if you remember, there were a bunch of mushrooms inside the graveyard area. So we're just going to go fly over their heads. And we're going to go into this door. This door has been here since the beginning of the game. And then there is a mushroom that we're going to talk to, who hands us a mushroom badge after we answer a bunch of double negative questions. Alright, so we're going to examine the mushroom badge. Now we're going to examine this letter we received from Sue when we were in prison. That gave us some very important information. Alright, so now we're going to talk to this mushroom again. And this mushroom said, I've been found out, because apparently this is actually the mushroom we need to extract in order to save Curly. So we need to fight this mushroom first, because this mushroom has realized that we are here to end its reign of mushroomhood. It's actually a very strong enemy. So when these rocks fall, we change to the fireball, because we don't want to lose XP from the machine gun, because we still need that to get through a lot of these areas. We're almost there. Almost there. Oops, super close. Ooh, we took a little bit of damage there. That's okay, though. All right, so good to go. We have now received Ma Pignon, the magic mushroom that will restore Curly to her former glory. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to the Arthur's house. Alrighty, so we're actually gonna restore our health first. And now we're just gonna go past the professor. We have nothing productive to say to him, so now we're just going back to the plantation. All right, so now we're gonna go back to Curly. And if you remember, the Cthulhu guy, the guy with the weird coat, said, she needs a mushroom. So we basically, Ma Pignon, the boss that we just fought, we have her basically dead in our pocket. Morbid, I know. All right, so so now we're gonna take the mushroom and literally just hand it to Curly, and she's gonna eat it and give us something called the Iron Bond. She now has regained her memory. That Iron Bond is actually going to allow us to access the final area of the game, which is the Bloodstained Sanctuary. All right, so that letter that Sue gave us actually has a password that we read out loud that allows us into this secret underground lab, and that's actually Sue's mom, who is in human form. So she has given us, she's borrowing our jetpack to try and build a hybrid for this little larger jet thingy. So basically now we have a Mimiga mask, and now we're just going to infiltrate. We're going to infiltrate the Mimiga Plantation Society. This is actually a little evil Mimiga who's kind of acting as a slave driver. He's not a good dude. All right, so now we have a broken sprinkler. We're going to need this to take this sprinkler inside of here because we need to get a new sprinkler, which Sue's mother actually needs to perfect her magic teleporter device. All right, so now we have a functional sprinkler. So now we're going to go back in the lab and give the sprinkler to Sue's mom. All right. And remember, the password of this door is actually Cave Story backwards, erots evac. So sometimes when I'm going through there, I will say erots evac, because that's the password. All right, so now Sue's mom said, all right, now go to my lame husband who's just hiding in the cave next to here and get a controller from him, because we need that for the jetpack device. All right, so we're in the storehouse now. We're gonna get the controller from him. We're gonna split, and then what we're gonna do, go back to the lab. Remember, everybody watching, say it with me, the password of this door, erots evac, because it's Cave Story backwards. All right, so we're going to give her the controller, and she's like, all right, why don't you take a nap? We have a bit of work to do. So now we're going to take a nap. All right, so now we're going to go up and out. All right, so now there is Ito and Sue's mother. So now we're going to talk to Sue's mom. We're going to trade our booster for the mask, which is actually very, very important. All right, so now we're gonna hop on her magic happy fun rocket. We're not going into the danger area yet. We're gonna talk to this dog who's gonna give us a health pickup and a life pot, which is very, very crucial. We're gonna need those later. All right, let's gonna hop on the rocket. The magic fun jetpack. We're gonna shoot up because sometimes the bats up here. We're gonna go in here and oh my god, it's danger, but we're okay. All right, so we're gonna do a safety save. We're gonna go in this door and go into the final cave, the last cave rather. Now, depending on what actions you take during the game, you may get different caves. This is the correct cave to get if you want to get the best ending. But for example, if you don't save Curly, there's a particular cave. Additionally, if you enter this cave with the little Mimiga mask on, you don't have your jetpack. So there's a cave that's unique to that situation. It's kind of cool little customization made by the developer of this game. Just, you know, it accommodates your situation. It's kind of fun and ingenious in a way. So there are only 2 versions of the last cave. Oh, interesting. According to my chat, there's only 2 versions. See, I have a lot to still learn about this game. Another game I speedrun is Silent Hill 4. I've been speedrunning that for 2 years. I'm still learning things about that game. That's the thing about speedrunning games. You're just constantly learning new stuff. All right, so I took some iframes there. We're going to fight this red ogre really quick. And that's the red ogre. All right. Perfect. Beautiful. All right, so next part. All right, so now we're going to just obliterate these enemies. This area is very, very dangerous, so we're just going to jetpack through here. Do a quick little jetpack through here, do this, do that, And away we go, up, up, and away, Superman style. All right, so now we are on the balcony, which appears before a large enemy gauntlet, if you will. Booster 2.0 cave and a non-booster cave. Okay, so there's only 2 caves. I stand corrected. So there's a cave for if you have this jetpack we're currently using, and then a cave if you don't have it, essentially. All right, so let's go ahead and level up our gun. We're going to need this during this the first half of this gauntlet fight. Now we have the blade. We're going to level that guy up as well. All right, that should be okay. All right, we get some health. And now we're going into the final boss gauntlet. Well, depends on what ending you get. If you don't get the best ending, this is a final boss gauntlet, but otherwise, this is a penultimate boss gauntlet. So we're fighting Misery, our friend Misery first. Well, she's not our friend. Misery actually isn't a bad person. The problem is if someone's wearing the demon crown, she is just unapologetically sworn to, do their bidding. And unfortunately, since the doctor put the demon crown on, she basically has to serve him. All right, almost there. It's a pretty crazy boss fight. It took me a very, very long time to really get good at this fight. All right, and that was Misery. Put her out of her misery. All right, so now we're gonna fight the Doctor. He's got 2 forms, so we're just gonna rush on over. We're gonna change weapons. All right. Ha 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 ha! So basically, he's got a floating crystal, and what that crystal is, he basically was able to take the essence of the red flowers and make them into a magic crystal that imbues him with crazy powers. So now, we beat his first form, so now we're fighting a second form, which isn't that difficult. It can do a bit of damage, but as long as you're just spamming it with the blade, you're good to go. Alright, so... Wait, come on. Alright, so now we're gonna fight, I'm not sure if I got a corner boost. Alright, so now we're going to fight the core one more time. Now, the Doctor still lives in evil form. He's able to kind of combine with his crystal and do some really bad stuff. And so he was able to take Sue and Misery and transform them into terrible, terrible entities. So we just took Sue out. She's not dead, but she's just heavily unconscious. So we're just basically going to... take this boss out. We're just going to kind of stay in the middle. Sue's just kind of going to get in our way, but as long as we keep spamming the boss with the blade, we should be able to take care of it. But, if Sue gets annoying, we can just kind of take her out as needed. I just try and stay on the boss and just try and hit her a bit as, while I'm not damaging the boss. I got to watch my health here a little bit. There we go. All right. So now the boss is in his final form. He's kind of doing those, some stuff he did when we were fighting the core boss. Inside the core. All right, this should do it. Bye, core. All right. My split for the first core was core power yoga, kind of a play on words, and that's like an evil skull doctor core. So now it's horror power yoga, kind of a funny words. I play a lot of spooky survival horror games too, so it hits home. So you hit the face. Interesting. All right, so now we are going this way. There is a helicopter that can save us, but we're not going there. We're going into this little shack. So now we're going to go ahead and save, and we're going to enter the final area, which is the Blood-Stained Sanctuary. This area is actually nicknamed Hell because there's actually a little sign in the entrance to this place that says, "Welcome to Hell." And in my split, I call it Heck because, you never know, you want to be, family friendly. All right, so we're dropping down here. Wait, that was scary. We got a life capsule, and we're gonna pick Curly up, who is here. She's still unconscious, but now we are carrying her, and we're in arguably one of the worst rooms of the game. So basically, we have these little demon cherubs chasing us, and all these blocks falling. So we're just gonna kind of take our time a little bit, just because we don't want to hit these blocks. If we actually get hit by these blocks, they do 5 damage on easy mode, but on hard mode, I think they do like 7 damage or something. So as long as we're taking like iframe hits from these, or taking hits from these demon cherubs, we're using those iframes. So now we can just kind of coast through this area, just do this, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I am going to grab this health here just to be on the safe side. Now we're going to go up into the left over here. I'm going to equip these missiles, and activate the lock on this door. Now we're just going to kind of take these guys out. Curly has the best gun in the game, which is the Nemesis. You can get that gun on your own. The problem with that gun is when that gun levels up to level 3, it shoots out ducks. It's a weapon that as it levels up, it gets a little weak, and the blade actually kind of functions the same way, so we always like to keep the blade at a low level. Now, this room, by the way, is the other terrible room in the game. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of grab this health real quick. We're going to vault over these enemies. We're going to kill this first guy to our left. Okay. We're going to take some damage so we can just basically phase through those spikes there. Now we're just going to kill this guy. These archers can't really hit us as long as we're sitting where we're currently sitting. All right, so now we're going to go up this way. We're going to disengage this lock while kind of picking off these guys. All right, so now what we're first going to do is we're going to kill these 2 demon cherubs. We're going to drop down here and just avoid this little text box. We're going to disengage this first lock. And we're going to disengage this second lock. And now we're going to get this chest, which has a bunch of missiles in it. And then we're going to fight a boss that I call Heckavator. I like to liken this boss to a Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog boss. And it's actually not too bad of a boss. You just have to kind of listen for a sound cue that'll give you the notice that it's about to fire its evil laser. But what we can do is take it out like that. We want to avoid it. If we get hit by it, we will die instantly, even after it's beat. One strategy a lot of speedrunners like to do is they beat the boss, they take damage from the little demon cherubs, and then they go under the Heckavator, and then essentially they get pushed down. It's really tricky, though. Tricky for me. So now we are entering the seal chamber, which has Jenka's brother and Misery's uncle, Balos, and he was actually the dude that created the Demon Crown. He's not a good dude. He's just a very, very bad dude. So this is his first form. We're going to take this out. I'm going to keep an eye on our health. I'm probably going to heal after this fight using our life pot. It's a good call. All right, so Form 1 is done. Beautiful. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and heal. Let's use this life pot. All right. Oops. We need to equip the blade. Forgot to equip the blade. All right, so we just need to basically jump in his eye socket. It doesn't matter which one, but as long as you're in there, you can do a significant amount of damage to him. And as long as you're facing away from him, you're actually doing, you're still throwing the blade, because the blade has some really interesting AoE damage in every form. All right, there we go. All right, that is Balos 2. So now we're on his final form. And we're just going to avoid these mini Baloses. Balos. These mini Baloses. We're just going to kind of equip the blade, and then when he goes up, we're going to use the machine gun. Curly's going to hit him with the Nemesis. Our health is in good shape, so we should be okay in the final phase. All right, so that's that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to equip the missiles. We're going to take some hits here, get some quick iframes. We're going to go into his eyeball. And we're just going to spam him with missiles, just like that. Spam him with missiles, and that's it. Balos is dead. The island is saved. And time. Well, firstly, this is a PB. This is a PB. Let's start with that. And secondly, yeah, we have now prevented the island from falling, because surprise, after we destroyed the core, the island started falling, but now it's no longer falling. But yeah, we got a nice PB. This is a good little PB for me. This is great. And so now we have defeated Balos. I'm just going to fast track this scene. Basically, Balos, at the last of his power, is deciding to close the walls on us. Curly and Quote are about to get squished, and then our Balrog shows up, and now he can suddenly fly efficiently, and he's no longer under the influence of Misery, and that's the game. So, yeah, so that's Cave Story Plus on the Nintendo Switch. It's a pretty intense speedrun. I'm always sweating, like, consistently. By the end of this run, I'm always sweating. My hands are sweating, I'm perspirating, because it's a lot of button mashing, a lot of things we need to micromanage just to make sure our health stays up, and then when we get to Balos, we just knock him the heck out. But, yeah, that was a fun run. And thanks again for watching. Hey, Kamaru. Hey, everybody in chat. Thank you again for watching. I appreciate it. I know I've kind of been focused, but I appreciate you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the commentary. I hope I was accurate. I know a lot has changed in this route, but yeah, overall it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, there's a lot of button mashing. Hey, Avel. Yep, this is a new PB. This is a brand new PB. So yeah, we're just getting through the credits. It's just listing all the enemies and whatnot. It's the enemies and the characters in a very Super Mario World format. But yeah, that was a fun run. So yeah, again, thank you again so much for your time in reviewing my SGDQ submission. I know there's a lot of submissions out there, so I appreciate it. I'm going to try and be at SGDQ in some way, shape, or form. If I'm not attending, I will definitely be watching on TV, enjoying all the hype. So thank you so much again. I really, really appreciate it. Love just looking at all these enemy descriptions. All right. So thank you so much again. I appreciate it, and have a great day. Thanks so much. Later. Bye.